We're here tonight to talk about a vision that we have for this college and our future. A vision that we see changing not just our college, but we believe really is going to set the industry standard, the model for how to train Christian leaders in the future. But as much tonight as we've gathered together under the Horizon College banner and to talk about Horizon College, I'd like to suggest that that's not really why we're here tonight. We're not really here for Horizon. We're not really here, in fact, to talk about Christian higher education. The reason that we are out here tonight is that 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ started something. 2,000 years ago, Jesus started a mission. And his mission was to take a world that was broken and that had turned its back on God and to reclaim and redeem that world and to take God's kingdom and spread God's kingdom, advancing it all around the globe. And that's why we're here tonight, because Jesus started something. And when he started it, Jesus called together a few other people, and he brought them into his mission, and he co-missioned them. He co-missioned a group of disciples and sent them out and had them co-mission others and co-mission others, so that for 2,000 years we are all part of the co-mission of Jesus Christ in advancing God's kingdom around the world. And we're here tonight because the world is not yet redeemed, and God's kingdom has still to advance. 1,800 years ago, give or take, we saw the first schools start up, first Christian leadership schools. And these schools trained priests and pastors, they trained missionaries, they trained lay leaders. And they brought these people, these leaders out, and they went out into the world and they carried on Jesus' co-mission. And these schools have changed shape over the years dramatically. But throughout all the past history, our schools have served alongside the church in preparing leaders to go out and to do the mission that Jesus started, which is to work in a world that needs to be redeemed, to advance God's kingdom around the world. And that's why we're here tonight, because the world is still not yet redeemed, because God's kingdom still needs to advance. I'm here tonight because 22 years ago, God inconvenienced my life. This may have happened to you, but 22 years ago, I was 19. Okay, math, you can do it. No, I really am that old. 22 years ago, I was 19. I was like these students, sitting in my obligatory 1 year of Bible college before I got on with my life and my plans for my life, which was to become a lawyer and to become a rich lawyer. I won't lie. That was my plan. But God had different ideas. And as I sat in my obligatory 1 year of Bible college, planning to just get this over with and get on with life, God in an instant intervened in my life and completely transformed my perspective. He gave me a completely different direction for my life that would see me training leaders to train leaders to train leaders to spread the kingdom of God around the globe. And in that instant, I went from going one direction to devoting the rest of my life to going another. And my wife, God has prepared for me a wonderful wife who didn't mind pursuing that vision at great cost, at moving all over the country, from pastoring in Calgary, getting degrees in Saskatchewan, in Ontario, in Scotland, and then eventually arriving back in Saskatchewan in 2008 at Horizon College and Seminary. And we came here in 2008 and began serving. And 1 year ago, 1 year ago today, in fact, I accepted the board's invitation to become the president of this college, which is nothing that I'd ever wanted or aspired to have. But God spoke. God spoke clearly. And so we started out. I accepted that, and we were away on a holiday and driving in Ontario, and everybody was asleep in the car as I was driving. And as we drove, I decided, it's probably a good idea, me being a Pentecostal and presiding over a Pentecostal college, I should probably have a conversation with God. I mean, I think I know where we need to go. We'd done some significant changes over the past few years. We'd made some really positive steps, and I thought, the job here is really to just keep advancing in the direction that we'd set. But I thought, maybe God has an idea. I'll ask him. And I honestly thought I would hear nothing. Those prayers where you pray and you hear nothing? That ever happens? Well, I honestly thought I would hear nothing. But again, God had different ideas. And so I did pray. I prayed, Lord, do you have a vision for the college? Or are we just, going to continue what we're doing here? And instead, God brought together all the strands of conversations I've had over the past several years with pastors, all the research I've read on Christian higher education and how better to work it. And he gave birth to a vision in my mind that we are able to unpack as a faculty and a staff, the vision of this Horizon 8.0, where we see ourselves transforming our college and stepping away from the traditional Bible college model to embrace a new model of education, to embrace a new identity as a Christian leadership training institute. And this is a fantastic vision. And God put it in there, and our faculty are on board, and our board is on board, and it's an exciting time. And all that we have to do to implement this is blow up our entire curriculum and start over from scratch. And so it's called Horizon 8.0 because we plan to launch this in 2015, fall 2015, which is our 80th year of ministry. Wisely, we did not call it Horizon 7.9, which would mean we'd have to be ready to go this fall. But God gives the vision. That doesn't mean there's not a lot of work involved in the vision. And we are on to something, I believe, that is absolutely cutting edge. We're grasping hold of a competency-based model of education, and where we want to assess students on their actual competencies and preparedness to do kingdom leadership, instead of assessing them on whether or not they've attended class and done enough to pass. It's a different philosophical model. And I'd like us to take a look here. You're going to have some things passed out to your tables, and we're going to take a look at a quick video. I'll come back and share a little bit more in a minute about this competency-based approach to education.
Horizon is excited to announce the dawn of a new way to train leaders for kingdom ministry. We are embracing a competency-based model of education that ensures our students graduate having demonstrated actual competencies essential for ministry. Our students will graduate as leaders and administrators, possessing basic planning and management skills and valuing servant leadership, just as Christ has taught. Our students will graduate as spiritually mature, practicing 4 spiritual disciplines and spiritual gifts, and demonstrating a commitment to lifelong Christ-like transformation. Our students will graduate as contextually aware, demonstrating a healthy view of self, a Christian view of the world, and practicing appropriate ways to engage culture. Our students will graduate as ministry developers, demonstrating awareness of various ministry models, developing strategies for healthy church practices and programs. Our students will graduate as disciple makers, witnessing for Christ, demonstrating global awareness and missionary need, mentoring others in core Christian competencies. Our students will graduate as skilled communicators, proclaiming God's truth in large and small groups, and communicating effectively in person, on paper, and online. Our students will graduate as biblically and theologically sound, carefully applying God's Word, discerning unsound teachings, and upholding the faith. Horizon 8.0, coming fall 2015.
But God gives the vision. It doesn't mean there's not a lot of work involved in the vision. And we are on to something, I believe, that is absolutely cutting edge. We're grasping hold of a competency-based model of education, and where we want to assess students on their actual competencies and preparedness to do kingdom leadership, instead of assessing them on whether or not they've attended class and done enough to pass. It's a different philosophical model. And I'd like us to take a look here. You're going to have some things passed out to your tables, and we're going to take a look at a quick video. I'll come back and share a little bit more in a minute about this competency-based approach to education. The competency-based approach to education that we are embracing at our college is both cutting edge and common sense for the type of ministry that we're involved in. It's only common sense that our leaders graduate capable of doing the work of the ministry to which they've been called. And so we're excited to be pioneering this here in Canada. What we're proposing isn't at this point being done anywhere in Canada, anywhere else in the world that I know of. And I'm just back a few days ago from a competency-based education conference in Texas, which had a number of universities from all over the United States and representatives from the University of Saskatchewan and University of Manitoba as well. And this really is something that's on the hearts of a number of educators, a lot of desire to move in this direction. We're able to do this capably, partly because of our own size. We're small enough to be able to implement it, and we have the sufficient buy-in that we need from the necessary stakeholders, our staff, our faculty, our board, our constituencies. And so this is an exciting opportunity for us to take a lead in a new way of training Christian leaders. And I truly believe that we will be copied, and to the glory of God. This is a good thing. I feel as though God perhaps didn't quite give us the keys to the kingdom, but maybe gave us the keys to the car in the garage next door. It's an exciting vehicle for us to be able to drive, and I'm thrilled that you've made it out tonight and we're able to show your support and your interest in this work that God has called us to do. I would like to share some of the ways in which your giving is going toward our future. We're looking, as we develop this new direction, we need to bring on top quality teaching and support faculty in order to prepare tomorrow's kingdom leaders, particularly in the support area, coaching and mentoring faculty who can help support students as they go toward a competency-based approach. We need our facilities to be functioning at a top quality level to be able to operate, attract, and retain students at this level. We need to engage in technologies that allow us to interact with our students both in the classroom, but also to expand our classroom beyond our walls around the world. And we need to tell people about what we're doing. We need to have promotional materials that will help to attract others to come and to participate in this move that God's doing. I want to thank you again for coming tonight, for showing your support, and for buying into and partnering with us in this venture that we're on. Thank you.